That doesn't make sense. But you're not. Just take it. Yes. Be here for the first person. Yes, yes.
We work with it, and my chair, you're welcome, sir. You're welcome, sir. All right, so helping you to introduce the spokesman of the Senate, distinguished Senator Adaramodu. All right. All right, so with your permission, can I proceed? Thank you, sir. So, how can reporters make the legislative function much better for constituent and
as well as the editor-in-chief of the 10th Senate magazine, among other positions? Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, join me in welcoming the Luong of Laya Afi, distinguished Senator Yemi Adaramodu, as he steps out to speak to us this morning.
Yes, good morning. Let's sit down. Good morning. The chairman said I'm going to make a remark, but now they said I'm going to give a talk. So maybe I will remark talk. But I'm not going to take much time because I had to cut my holiday very short when I found out that I was pertinently invited to grace this occasion today, because I'm supposed to be on holidays, plenary holidays, and I was with my people in the South Central District, enjoying their conviviality when I had to break it and then make sure that I present myself today to attend this program. So I want to congratulate my colleagues. Like I said, I'm going to remark talk. So it's not going to be a presentation per se, because I almost don't like reading from the books. But yes, the 10th Senate, I want to carry from the message that was sent by our uncommon Senate President of the uncommon 10th Senate, taken after the uncommon 9th Senate. So, and the very uncommon 7th Senate. So there is, this bridge is unending. 7, 8, 9, 10. So it means that there is a debate. We have held the meeting together. So nobody has even left it for each other. So it's a shame. So I want to appreciate the press corps of the Senate, because for the time that have been made by the benevolence of the 10th Senate and the leadership of the Senate and the chairman of the media and public affairs, there have never been issues, because when they said issues, challenges and responsibilities, I said, have there been issues? So, but issues can be positive, because at times we always look at issues from the negative side of it. So we have always been having very positive issues with the correspondents in the parliament from the 10th Senate and the press corps. So our relationship has been very robust. Not that there had never been maybe 1 or 2 times that we had to talk frankly with each other. But like the MC presented me in the courtroom, I have been in the news making room as a journalist. I'm now in the law making room as a parliamentarian. So I have the experience of both. I was in the media for 22 years running. That was the only job that I did after graduating. And from it, I transitioned to public service, which many of us will say we call politics. Because I don't regard anybody that is elected as only a politician, because we always play politics in our lives because they said it, and it is a truism that every human being is a political animal. So definitely it means that everyone here is a politician. So I'm a political public servant. So now, to go from there, we know that the media is not only considered to be just an appendage of any arm. That's why it is called the fourth realm of the estate. We have three realms: the legislature, the judiciary, and the executive. And the fourth is the media, which is even enshrined in the Nigerian Constitution. So it means that the media is recognized constitutionally. So it means that the roles of the media cannot be taken as a second thought or an afterthought by any of the other arms of government and by the citizenry as a whole. That's why the paramount roles of the media cannot be emphasized. So for me, as one of you, I would say that when we started before you wearing those two hats, though I'm wearing one cap now, you are seeing this one, the other one is under it. So this one that I'm wearing now is media, so the one of politics is under. So, and as the current spokesman of the Senate, that I'm a donation from you to the Senate. So this dual identity gives me that unique vantage opportunity, especially to be here, talking to you today, confidently, because I know the in and out of both the two sides. When the parliamentarian in me, I will always see the responsibility of an accurate, fair, and responsible reporting of sustaining democracy. I know the journalist in me will always see the importance of scrutiny and the independence of the media and making sure that we interrogate the system, either the executive, the judiciary, or the legislature. So, because of this, I see parliamentary reporting as not an ordinary bit. In fact, it is the most important bit of any bit that journalism can offer the citizens of Nigeria. And like my other said, and that we all know that where there is no parliament, there is no democracy. Because parliament is what we call the democracy, because that is where the representatives of the people dwell. The executive, we only have maybe the president and his vice, the governor and his deputy. The rest are appointees. When you go to the judiciary, nobody is even elected. It's career. So nobody, is not representative or representational of any kind of constituency. So it is who gets it that is there. But in the parliament, we are here on behalf of the people. The people sent us here. And so that is why it is pertinent to note that it is the parliament that makes democracy. So, like I said, parliamentary reporting then demands very consequential and sensitive reporting, and it requires intellectual depth and understanding of constitutional law, mastery of legislative procedure, and the grasp of political nuances. It also requires courage, independence, and the ethical compass to navigate partisanship and the ever-increasing pressures for sensational headlines. In a world where misinformation spreads faster than the truth, where truth and trust in public institutions is very fragile, and where technology has transformed the way news is produced and consumed, the practice of parliamentary reporting deserves renewed reflection. What I'm here today, therefore examines the issues, the challenges, and the responsibilities of parliamentary reporting in Nigeria and beyond, with an emphasis on the unique democratic context of our country. To do so, it weaves together issues, theory, practical case studies, and recommendations. So for me, I just want to, in the course, analyze the role of the press in parliamentary reporting. It is very, we know that this is explicitly enshrined in the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999 as amended. That's section 22. You have to read. This affirms the press as a central guardian of accountability. Its role goes beyond informing. It is constitutional obligation to ensure that governance remains transparent and responsible. This is why the press has often been referred to as the fourth leg of the fourth estate of the realm. In the parliamentary context, journalists act as a vital bridge between elected representatives and the citizens. The people cannot all sit in the gallery of the Senate. They rely on journalists to carry debates, motions, and legislative decisions into the public sphere. When parliamentary reporting is done with rigor and fairness, it strengthens democracy. But when it is sensationalized, distorted, or superficial, it diminishes both the parliament and the press. The constitutional responsibility also raises an ethical dimension. Unlike in purely commercial sectors of journalism, parliamentary correspondents must recognize that they are not merely content producers, they are not content creators, they are not doing skits. They are reporting accurately facts, truth, and what is happening and what has happened. It is not allegedly like any other reporting. When you are doing criminal reporting or crime reporting, you say allegedly, suspect. But in parliamentary reporting, you have to be accurate, you have to say it the way it is. So that is a very big difference. So the watchdog role of the press is not self-assigned, it is constitutionally guaranteed. This recognition also aligns with broader democratic theory, described the public space as a realm where citizens deliberate about governance through access to information. The media is central to sustaining this sphere. If parliamentary reporters falter in their constitutional mandate, then the deliberative foundation of democracy itself is weakened. Then we talk about how this evolved during the colonial era. So we knew that the president was used as a tool for resistance against the foreign rule. When we look at the African pilot established by Baba Azikwe, Nnamdi Azikwe, it was to fight the colonialists and to gain independence for Nigeria. So then, but notwithstanding what was happening within the realm of those people who are our rulers then, are being reported, because if we didn't have newspapers like the African pilot, then the reports and the reporters would have been coming from the skewed side of those people who are our colonial masters. So the West African pilot started by Dr. Nnamdi Azikwe. Later, we started having other newspapers, independent newspapers like the Tribune. I think that was 1949. So fight with this, to make sure that Nigeria is independent. Because after it, all other newspapers started getting up. So this media then covered legislative councils with a focus on nationalistic aspirations, framing debates about self-rule in ways that mobilized the masses. At independence in 1960, parliamentary reporting entered a new phase. Journalists now have to cover a sovereign parliament, grappling with debates about federalism, resource control, and constitutional development. The Federal Public Press was marked by vibrancy but also partisanship, as many newspapers were aligned with political parties, because then we found out that the Tribune, we know that for the progressives, then AG, the UPN, so then the other newspapers, all majority of big politicians then wanted to set up media houses in order to advance their own political causes. So that was the chaotic situation of the media and the reporting by that time. That was when our self-rule, quote unquote, after all these military interventions. So when it was fading off, then because a staccato will be in fact in the republic, then after maybe 2-3 years, the military will come, then we come back there. So like media then was coming up, they were evolving, and then the evolution there was tailored towards the interest of those people that established them. And the period that the military will come, we know what happened. That debates, media debates then was not about maybe parliamentary reporting or reporting of government activities per se, especially the ones that were negative. So we were reporting debates on the decrease then. And then there was this entrenched habit of opacity and censorship and the authoritarian control of information, like the government of Nigeria then, because we were under military rule. So after 1999, when we are now where we are, the press faced the dual challenge of recovering democratic tradition while navigating a transformed media environment. Today, parliamentary reporting operates in a very context of democratization and commercialization and digitalization. Unlike their predecessors, they must cover, and then you today, we must cover a bicameral legislation in Nigeria in a 24-hour news cycle with social media amplifying both the reports and the risks of distortion. Issues. Parliamentary reporting in Nigeria is fraught with unique issues that complicate the task of journalists. We must agree to that. First, there is the complexity of parliamentary procedures, motions, clauses, and legislative instruments, which often contain layers of meaning that are lost without adequate understanding of constitutional and procedural frameworks. The risk of this reporting or trivializing procedures and proceedings is significant where reporters lack grounding in legislative processes. Like at times there could be a motion maybe raised by a legislator, maybe there could have been maybe an erosion somewhere in the constituency, and a senator will just come up with a motion, maybe matter for very urgent importance, and then by the time the senator just comes out with it, and then debates, arguments here and there, senator supporting, the following day you can even see it, banner reporting. Nigeria Senate stops erosion in Nigeria. I'm just using that one, that's not the real headline. Oh, let me just take one pertinent and very poignant example, a real example. That was this issue of school, establishment of a higher institution, so specialized institution. The senator brought it up. So the headline the following day is federal government or Senate, federal government to establish so university. So the people of that constituency, they started jubilating, whereas it's just a mere bill, first reading or second reading, so which has not even gone to public hearing or to even the committee matter. So they started jubilating. Then after jubilating, so the church it has already been established. And you know that thing put the senator into a lot of troubles. I happen to share part of it because it happened in my own area. So they thought it had been established. So after some time, maybe 2, 3, after about 3 years, that no institution was forthcoming. Then very close to the local government where that happened, where the people jubilated. A school now, a higher institution was established. Then people came, they went a while that the school that was already established for them has been taken fraudulently by another person to another community. And I personally was the person that they thought had taken it away. And by that time, I have not even resumed as a senator. We have just concluded our election. Then I had not even been sworn in as a senator. So I was just embarrassed. How? Because they now started brandishing the news item of the establishment of that school earlier. That yes, it was Adaramodu. Then I was not behind Senator Adaramodu. I was still in the House of Representatives, and I didn't know whether any school like that. But when they started showing me, this school has been established, but we have been putting our leg on it, so we did not allow the vice chancellor or the provost to resume. So immediately they voted for me, and I became senator. They just changed it, even while, and it was done in April, and I was to be sworn in June. So the community carried placard against me. I said no. They said no, it has already been reported. I now started telling them, when a senator or a representative brings up a bill, that does not make it a law. We still go through so many processes and stages. And in fact, after leaving the legislative arm, if we still go back to the executive, because it is the prerogative of the executive to even establish schools, because they are the ones who are going to budget for it and bring out the money. It is not going to be the legislature. So I was, even all those explanations, even those people elites that knew it because of politics and partisan politics. So they refused to agree that no, that's just an afterthought. That's just an afterthought. Why was it immediately it was elected that that school just went to his hometown? So those are areas whereby legislative and parliamentary reporting that we need to dwell seriously on, informing the public, letting them know that yes, these are legislators, these are your representatives, but they have their specified rules of making laws, doing oversight, and intervening for their constituents and constituencies. And so, and that one will take me to another. Many of our constituents, when the bridge is dilapidated in our area, they will be calling you. Now look at the senators, the local government. The bridges here are not good. The roads are labeled with potholes. You will just be asking, do you have a budget? Do you do budget? Is that your duty? But they believe that you are the one that is supposed to. And the media, at times, we just dodge it. We just allow people to pillory the legislator and call him a lame dog, a sleeping legislator. So we just allow him or her to be seriously pilloried. And then we say, oh, this one is lazy. Too laissez-faire. How can this one be representing us when there is no big hospital in the constituency? There is no good big roads, dual carriageway in the constituency. And at times, the social media Because it is your reporting that can even change the narrative of the Zombia. We know that it is not the majority of these are not being reported like that by the traditional media. So the Zombia, which is the fastest, and that is where the majority of Nigerian youth draw their own information. They don't even cross-check. They don't even look at it. If they say that somebody has swallowed a bottle, they will just take it like that. We know he can swallow it. You will not interrogate it that because when he opens his mouth is very big. So the buccal cavity is very wide. So it's true that he would have swallowed it. So we don't. So that is one of the challenges. That is one of the issues that is seriously maybe bedeviling from our own side in reporting from the parliament. And again, we found out that there was sometimes I was called to come and answer some questions on television. So they now said that somebody, it was in the media, that somebody said the legislators that we had, I think, 6 trillion naira projects in the budget of 14 trillion naira capital component of federal budget. I said, so the legislator made almost 50% of it. And I said, in what form? He said, constituency project. I said, what is the name of constituency project? And go and look at the budget. Constituency project will be written ZIP. Most of us, even the media, we know. But at times we will just go over it, we will not bother. Even when the public is ignoring the legislators, that yes, they are the ones who are taking out the money. Constituency project here and there. I will tell them that as a senator, I will be only allowed to nominate projects that is not worth more than 225 million naira. My predecessors are here. That is not worth more than 225 million in the budget as ZIP. And why we allowed that is because federal government is a behemoth. It's big. It's situated in Abuja. I'm from Ilawe Ekiti. In my local government, I have Okoto, I have Ibadan, I have so many farm states. Is it possible if they want to grade the farm states of Abanagbede in my local government, or Aboshokotedo in my local government, or Abajosin in my local government, that in Abuja they remember that there are some farm states that they are bearing that name. So that small window will now be the ones that we will nominate as projects to be done by NMGA, so that they will feel the presence of the federal. And it is majorly, and it is majorly all these utility touches that are the touch of the federal in our constituencies. And now, my honorable minister is here. He knew that while the executive will be making budget, we always start going from ministry to ministry. I have come to my honorable minister just a few months ago that, Oga, please, what can you do for my constituency? Abuja. So if it is done, if it be that I have facilitated that to my constituency, it doesn't mean that it comes through me or it comes directly from my own pen. I have facilitated it because of the way our constituency is glorious, because they cannot make a distinction between a lawmaker and an executive person, because they cannot make that distinction. They think you are in government, a whole senator, look at him, a whole senator, and the schools is a constituency, is dilapidated, and a whole senator, and there are so many, we count 1,000 poles before we get to his house, a whole senator, the bridge there is one side good, one side bad, a whole senator. So then we'll be running from pillar to post to all the agencies that are going to do this. So I think from the media, from our parliamentary reporters, we still want you to go ahead and let the citizens know the limitations of the legislators. In reporting again, even our procedures through the standing rules, our media people, the reporters, we are supposed to have the knowledge of the standing rules together, so that when somebody fails to observe the rules, maybe standing rule says that you cannot speak where it's not assigned to you officially, and since section 60 has already established it, that we are going to be guided by our rules, making it constitutional. And then that rule is that if you are supposed to sit on seat number 10 and you go and sit on seat number 13, you will not be recognized by the presiding officer. And somebody insisted that he must be recognized. And on the basis of that, a lot of katakata came up. And then we are now looking as if we don't know. And somebody who revises order 6 is now sitting under 10. And we know that in primary school, when you are reading 1, 2, 3, you get to 6 before you get to 10. And we don't bother. So, and I believe that these are issues, challenges, responsibilities of all of us. Because there are some things that no matter how well, how much lexicography that Yemi Adaramodu can espouse, the public will tend not to believe. They say, what do you expect him to say? We know now. Yes. They defend themselves now, those guys. Nothing believes them. But if it comes from the channel of truth, the channel of conscience of the public, then if it is analyzed, then it goes for it that public, they are much likely to oblige to know that yes, the National Assembly is not a banana republic where there is no law. Because if it means that I can sit anywhere, one morning I will just come, I will love where the Senate President is sitting. Because yes, so this is parliament, I can sit wherever now. But because that is absolute, unethical, unconstitutional, illegitimate. That's why I was apportioned. And where I was apportioned is not permanent. That's why there are no lockers. So that you will not say that you have forgotten your items inside the locker. There's no locker. You know, do you have any locker in the chamber? No lockers. So it means that every seat that you are is temporary. You can be changed any day, any time. So those are some things that, because the reporter in the legislation is as educated as the legislator that is in the chambers. Even at times, because I know many of you, at times you even quote sections of our rule books. There was a time I was on television. Thank God that I know it. The lady just asked that question. Your section 63. So I think your section 63. What does it? I said, I now read it off and she didn't know that I will. She's not that I was mentally lazy. So she didn't know. So it means that many of us too, know all these things, but we have to push it out there and let the public know that yes, this is it and that is it. And we have to let the public know that most often when we talk of, because at our committee levels, we don't normally give report as much as we do to plenary. And it is at the committee levels that oversight functions are seriously emphasized. That is where oversight functions are seriously emphasized. Because at committee levels, that's where we pick either the MDAs or petition from the public or interest of the public. That's where we treat it. And we have time to sit down to interrogate and interview at times and take decisions. And most often, when reports of even committees are brought to the parliament, at times we report it as decision. And Senate sets to, National Assembly sets to, whereas we don't set to. It is just a motion, it's just a resolution. And then we should let people know the difference between resolutions and bills that we have passed. Resolutions are suggestions. They are advisory at times. The bills are the laws. And until the president assents, or it comes back to the parliament, and then maybe the parliament over, yes, then that is when it becomes law. And like, for example, many of our people out here, they don't know the difference between first reading, second reading, and third. So once it is first reading, that prose reading, we take it. Okay, you tell me. I thought, and I don't want to talk more. So yeah, yes, access to information. So, and I believe, let us utilize the Freedom of Information Act of 2011 seriously and ensure that we get information as much as we do, but there are the little limitations, which are passive limitations, is that when we do reporting and then there is that kind of thinking, because we are in political era. Definitely we are in the National Assembly, we are from different parties. Then party A, we want even something that we injure party B, so that during election, party B will not be able to make it. So there is the tendency of that party person to want to reach out and say, report it down, use this slang or use this language, and then blah 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 blah. And when it is done like that, when you are coming to party B next time, or the party B person next time, to ask for information, he or she is likely to feel very good. So that's why the media will be very dispassionate. Report it the way it is. Say it out the way it is. And let the people know that yes, that is how it is. So finally, part of the difficulties that we are facing is that today social media has almost taken care of so many things. And then even adverts in especially the print media is dwindling because of the platforms, social media platforms that are all over there. So definitely funding the media is a bit very low. And then these are challenges that you are facing. And so finally, after finally, So finally, we are recommending that we in the parliament, we are going to ensure that from my own office, and I have the mandate of the Senate President, distinguished Senator Roswin Obotapadio, that we are going to sit down with the leadership of the press corps to ensure that not periodically, at least quarterly, that we are going to be engaging you in a retreat so that we will bring in scholars, bring in experienced legislators to come and dialogue, at times even teach us, and then inform us of how we can improve on the reportage of the parliament. So the Senate President said I should convey that one to you, that we are not going to allow this one to be the only one now, and that before we close for the year, another one will be held, which is going to be sponsored by the Senate. Clap now.